Governor Newsom is doing a terrible job keeping his state safe, and now a new report sheds light on the disastrous policies leading up to the Palisades wildfires. California State Park's wildfire mitigation team reportedly instructed officials to let the Topanga State Park, quote, burn in a wildfire event in order to restore the natural ecosystem. The document was reportedly issued just weeks before the January 7th wildfire and could have prevented local firefighters from fully extinguishing an earlier blaze that reignited later in the winds. Lydia, listen to this. Shockingly, the document says the public should not be told when these areas catch fire. Avoidance areas should be shared with the Incidents Command, but the information should be kept from the public. Why?
Why wouldn't they want the public to know this common sense information that would help them secure their safety and their homes and their possessions? And also, why are we putting, I understand protecting the environment. I like the environment too, but protecting the environment ahead of public safety, where you have families that are trying to live their everyday lives. There was a great interview recently on the Laura Ingraham show. Laura interviewed a filmmaker named Rob Montz, and he was highlighting how the protection of the brushweed, like this plant called the milk vetch plant, is actually protected. So they're not supposed to remove this. And they're finding that that brush helped burn and spread these fires faster. So it's another example of kind of the regulatory burden putting other priorities ahead of public safety, which just doesn't make sense. And the bureaucracies now is what is preventing them from rebuilding in a fast and efficient way. It's just a bad situation in California.
Joey, that's it. You have environmental concerns, but aren't fires an environmental concern? So they get, this has been an ongoing battle. President Trump is always stressing you got to clear out the brush, and California doesn't want to do it.
That's the thing. Fires are a part of natural habitat. When you read this is not a bad thing when it says to restore the natural fire frequency and chaparral habitat. So what it's saying is this place is supposed to burn. That's what's supposed to happen. If you go to any fire department in Georgia, they burn their sod, and then it comes back greener right there on their front lawn. Why do the fire departments do it? Because they know how, and they can, and it's the right thing to do. The reason why I point that out is the Topanga Park should have been burned probably several times over the past decade or two, both for the park's own vitality and also for the safety of those around it. Who would have raised the stink if they would have burned the Topanga Park and done it as a controlled burn and done it responsibly? Probably the people that live in the Pacific Palisades. They probably would have been upset about it. So what I hope is from this and all the tragedy of it is that these communities and voters and activists in the state of California learn the necessity for controlled burns. They learn that that is how you prevent fires from happening this way. And it becomes transparent rather than probably a park service that says, we can't tell them about it because they'll vote us out and they'll take our money away and they'll stage protests and they'll latch themselves to the fire trucks naked with "Don't burn our park" written on their chest. When you have the radical policies of the liberals in California, this is what you get. You get these powder kegs waiting to happen. Basically, what I read here is they knew they couldn't let the residents know that the right thing to do would be to burn out the underbrush of Topanga Park. And that's pretty sad.
Topanga State Park is 11,000 acres. It is the largest city-contained wilderness park in the world. And it wasn't cared for in a way that Joey is explaining here, especially with consideration to the proximity to Palisades. And it might be that those residents were just too delicate to hear the information. Yeah. Because it was something that had to be absorbed. It was a reality that the state should have shared and that the residents should have been able to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are living in those houses, they don't want those fires.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.